Wait a fucking minute. I think I know what it is. I don't think we ever did this. Which is really funny, because I passed by numerous times and was like, hey, remind me to grab that. I think I know what the shine I'm missing is. It's not actually that far from here, and it's one I think I remember pointing out. And this is what happens when you record, have something in your head, and just forget about it. Because I forgot about this like a couple of chapters ago. There's a boat panel over here.
You know, I almost said something about that. When you said boat, I was going to point out, wasn't there a boat on the...
It was this boat panel. I just forgot to come back for it.
Yeah. Yeah, because we...
It's this boat. We never came back here except to get the one badge, and while we got the badge, I forgot to use the panel. There's a shine over here.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Because the...
There's that really out of the way pipe.
Yes.
What?
Yes. I thought the way you were supposed to get that is the spin jump. Look, see the pipe
wait.
go.
Oh, wait, yeah, I'm dumb. Wait, yeah, it's spin jump because there's a pipe. It goes all the way out. On. It's been so long, I forget what's over there. Hold on.
Isn't that one of the... Wait. Isn't that the person that gives you the benefits?
No? I don't think she's in the other side. Get her early. I forget what...
I think it's one of those, like, wizard people that
Hold
does
on.
something.
Okay, embarrassing forgetting about this boat. Aside, that was my bad. Yeah, there's the pipe. It's fine. I opened a guide to refresh my memory on one shine. Forget what's over here.
Oh, no, it's just a star piece.
Oh, yeah. Just like a really out of the...
That's kind of boring.
That would have been a cool spot to have a shine sprite.
But maybe they thought that would be too out of the way.
Dang it. Okay, guys. Detour. We can now power up Miss Mouse, and I can move on with the plot. I forgot to come back for this when we popped through that one day. I just forgot to use the boat panel. Which is funny because I did blow up the wall. I came back here for these two things. I can crack this joke because this is why my mind's all over the fucking place. We had an aunt here for a bit. And due to just family drama, I forgot a couple of things.
Even outside of that, we weren't able to record for a while because of, like, stupid weather.
I forgot one shine sprite that I did have a mental... Whatever. Which is funny because I got all the complicated ones.
And all I said for years, I felt like when you dedicate to remembering the complicated thing, you forget the easier one. Because your mind knows, it's like, I should do this so I don't have to backtrack. Or do this before it becomes a pain in the ass.
Okay, now on with the plot. Come on, Tommy. Okay. One of the most obvious shine sprites aside, I just forgot to grab it that one day.
And now that we're back onto the plot, or something, I think I got this a bit before.
I think jokes, even when I know a game, super well. If I don't remember something, it's like,
I
just
think I've talked about this before, but I can't remember if I said this on recording or not, because it's one of those things people get really heated about. Everyone complains that one of the bad things about, like, the newer Paper Marios is how they don't,
honestly, how I might cut that in the first place, for convenience, I might just cut to, guys, I was an idiot and forgot this book panel was over here. Long suckers.
Anyway, one of the things a lot of people complain about was, like, the modern Paper Mario is the lack of partners. I'm going to be that guy. Partners are really an afterthought in this series, both in terms of character and mechanics, because in the first game, partners didn't have HP, and there were no partner or badges to give them any effects. This is the game that introduced all the partner badges, but even with that, and like, this is, you know, kind of a funny example, because the game does not know what partner you will have out, and it doesn't do the RPG thing of throwing them all out at once. Other than a few very specific lines of dialogue, most partner dialogue is super fucking generic. Most of their characterization you get in their introduction, and then not a lot after it. There are very few scenarios. Like, I think Coops has a special line against Hotel and, like, later, and you said you were going to try to show this off. Vivian is, like, I think the only other partner to get special dialogue in a boss fight, but other than that, most of the time it is fairly generic. Though the funny thing is, don't you actually literally need Bobbery? Like, didn't you need Bobbery out to actually proceed here?
Yes.
And now that I talked about how most of the partners are really not good as characters, most of the partners are kind of bad in terms of gameplay, because Mario is the only one that gets badges like the Shrink Stomp and stuff, so because of that, Mario can do everything. Like, because Vivian is another party member, people argue about how useful Vivian is or not, and we've talked about, it's like, oh, Fiery Jinx, well, it doesn't, like, pierce or get the damage increase it should. It's okay for dealing with crowds. Fire Drive fucking pierces.
Yeah.
The only problem with Fire Drive is, I think it's more expensive. Or
It is way more expensive!
Well, and can become more expensive if you equip multiple Fire Drives. And because Fire Drive slides across the ground, it technically can't hit everything, so there are very specific niches that Fiery Jinx can fulfill. But it is like, why would you use...
Wrong pipe.
But it is like, why would you use Fiery Jinx when Fire Drive is strictly, objectively better in almost every scenario?
Fire Drive does piercing damage on top of the burning, but the way Fire Drive works, every enemy in a row takes damage.
Like I said, it slides across the ground.
But it takes down.
Yes, but, well, it does tick down because...
No, that is the one problem. It ticks down. Meaning a guy in the back will take less damage.
Yes, but it's most of the time strictly better.
Oh, with the piercing, it's really good.
Which is funny, because I made a joke about that one being, like, that move being trash when we guided it, because I didn't know it pierced. But that's one of those, I think a lot of people don't know it pierced. Also, this is the most infamous part of padding in this game. You will never be able to justify this.
Golbov's not that bad. We'll get to it. Everything? Yes. Yes. Yes.
Now, while I talked about the partners not really saying anything, I think if you have Goombella with you and you say the everything, she's like, Mario, is that a good idea? So, there are moments where a few... Oh, I wasn't serious either. What the hell are you trying to do?
That's what I was trying to do. Found it.
What? There's actually a button to scroll dialogue back.
Yes.
How far back can that go? Oh, no.
No, I believe you can do on. You can go through all of it.
Oh.
No one knows that's a mechanic.
Because the game never tells you that. It's also actually surprising, like...
I've been meaning to show that off, I just forgot to.
It's surprisingly forward-thinking, because that became more of a trend in a modern sense, because if someone accidentally skips something, because they think...
There's a scroll back button, I just could... Not that you would ever legitimately find it, because it's fucking Z.
Hey, at least Z isn't the skip cutscene button.
I've seen people that think you can't skip cutscenes in Beautiful Joe.
Because it's the fucking Z button. Why would you make it the Z button?
I've seen people that think you can't skip cutscenes in Beautiful Joe.
Anyway, let's go back to the point of how, like, Mario, and I think it's not just, oh, Mario is, like, slightly better than the partners. No, Mario is so much objectively better than the partners. I feel what we're doing is a perfect example of that. If after a certain point, barring very few scenarios, Danger Mario effectively becomes beating the game without partners.
Like, if you're doing Ludicrous Dangerville, the partners are super worthless, but this is also...
Even what you're doing, I would still say they're mostly worthless. At this point, Goombella becomes the only...
No, what I was going to say, if you're doing basic danger strats to just drop Mario's HP to be low, but not be freakishly overpowered like I'm doing, your partners often have good use, and there are very good danger strats for partners using...
I said the, like... If you do a danger partner build, doing that with the Yoshi is fucking absurd.
But basically in the video of them arguing about partners, they thought Miss Mouse was absolute trash because a lot of your other partners have piercing skills, and they're like, when would you ever need Miss Mouse weak-ass pierce? But that's thinking about the game as people... Clearly people who played through this game a lot... Where I feel like to make other partners super useful, it takes a lot of setup and FP, where Miss Mao's basic piercing is pretty good.
Well, to be fair, even if you don't go full danger or doing like a point swap or whatever the fuck, much like
fuck, here we go.
Much like how the basic charge for Mario is useful, the basic charge for the partners, like just charging once and using like the Yoshi here or Goombella's multi-bonk, much like charging and then doing a multi-bounce, that's pretty fucking good.
Goombella was ranked high because they made a joke with her ability to do multiple attacks like Mario, she can dumpster bosses.
Yeah.
Yoshi was seen as high because the Yoshi Stampede, if you set up...
Like I said, you don't even need to do full danger. Just get, like, 2 charges and that move is pretty
The Yoshi
alright.
Stampede needs some attack boosts, but it hits everything. So, and my problem with the Stampede is that Yoshi's base damage is kind of bad. So, to explain what the fuck we're doing... And I hate this part of the game. Now, with Bump Attack, this isn't that bad, but... I'm doing stupid shit, and it's one reason I like doing Extreme Danger Mario, so I can get Bump Attack. So, you needed
I feel like,
General White. Like, I will just, explain this now, because it starts to become incredibly obvious what's going on here. General White went missing, and we need his permission.
He's the only...
Yeah.
He's the only guy authorized to fire the cannon.
Wait. I think it's, on. I think it's the Koopa over here. Yeah. Do you know what? Desert Island. No, Deserted Island. It is literally...
And that's why I said this is padding. This is the biggest moment of padding in the game.
Yes. Yes, it is. And it's...
Especially if you don't have fucking, like, Bump Attack or anything. Or, like, even not a bump attack. What's the lesser version of it that only applies to, like, lower level enemies?
No, well, it's lower level enemies, but you need the first strike.
Oh, yeah.
You need to get a first strike. Bump attack just makes encounters impossible for most enemies in the game because everything has a hidden level value, and it kind of...
Though the game's hidden level values are kind of nonsense. Something else I wanted to talk about, because I went and looked at that, like, Amazy Daisies, and this is why they give a experience payout. Amazy Daisies are level 100. Hence why they always give a
Actually, based on... Hold on.
Where did he... Like,
No, I know where he went, but based on how the... Damn it.
I was going to say, what's next? Like...
It's the arena.
Yeah, because you can't fast travel there, just... Leaving the island manually would be the fastest.
Well, on. My logic for leaving the island manually to go there is this. You can't fast travel.
You just go, like, up to a town square. You then go over.
No, well, the thing is, and I could see someone pointing out, if I used...
That if you technically went back to the pipe, because you're going back to the pipe, you'll be in the sewers, because you're in the
sewers on the one side, you just pipe up. But I still think, based on the screen count, that this is...
But both of these are still padding. This is more padded than a maxi pad.
General White is going all over the map. And the thing is, if you do not have bump attack, if you get in an encounter and you don't have that weaker version that the name escapes me at the moment, you are forced to do the combat. Meaning, and
this is why I feel like RPGs should just have a standard feature of being able to turn off or reduce random encounters. It's not hand-holding, it doesn't make the game
with
easy.
bump attack, and this is one reason I do extreme danger builds, and I know it's kind of petty, and some people act like, oh, the General White thing's overblown. In some cases, yes, but like, you're still running around all over the map doing fucking nothing.
Well, this also goes back to part of the problem here is if every major area, like, if that section of the 4 pipes in the sewers had a warp pipe to every major area, this wouldn't be as bad. Like, because imagine that. Because you would just go back to the pipe, go to the sewer, you go through like another pipe, and then you pop up here. And then repeat the same thing.
It'd still be padded, but you could...
But it would be far less padded.
The problem is that the sewer pipes are not connected to every area in the game.
Which they should have been.
Now, I agree with you, because you can't...
Like I said, this is another one of the moments where this is the type of thing, if a modern Paper Mario game did this, everyone would fucking despise it. And this game only gets a, like, halfway free pass.
Even fans don't completely defend this bullshit.
Because this isn't content, this is just padding. Like, you're going to areas you've already been. You're not going to new parts of the areas with future powers you didn't have. You don't have special, like, combat encounters. You don't have, like, a special minigame. There's nothing new here. This is entirely recycled content.
You're just running around, and on top of that, and I know how to speed this up a little bit, just off memory, you have to talk to the correct character. So in a blind run,
it is literally just go and talk, because the people you talk to, they don't give you a hint as to, like, the next person, right?
Yes, they do.
Oh, okay, at least.
No, well, okay, area, not person.
Okay.
No, area, because the one guy at the juice bar said big tree.
No, to be fair, was this area as an example?
I think it's this guy, though.
There.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, to be fair, was this area, and this is this sort of only applies to this area. There's not a lot of people there it could have been. It would have literally just been him, the Elder, Puny. Stop before the game crashes. Stop before you wrong warp. Stop before you wrong warp to the credits and the game crashes. Anyway, it was like the tree as an example, and I will be fair and say that the other thing with this was some of the areas. There aren't a lot of NPCs in some of
the areas.
So there was not a lot.
But
it could be.
Hold on, let's think about this from a blind perspective.
But again, that still goes back.
You
to...
have to read. Oh, he said big tree, so you go to the big tree.
Especially, you might actually think, even though it has been generic NPCs before, you might think it's because you're returning to areas. It's like, oh, it's going to be the important characters from the area. Like Petalburg, it's going to be the town mayor. Or like the tree, it's going to be the elder. But no, it's normally one of the generic NPCs.
I've always hated this part, but when you know what to do. Now, for this one, I believe it's this guy.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Alright.
Huh?
No, okay.
But again, that is a funny thing. It just keeps being one of the random generic NPCs.
What? Where'd he go? What am I, his secretary? He looked tired, I know that. I did it. Now, because of bump attack and years of hindsight, even though my memory was a little fuzzy on exactly who to talk to, we're basically about to finish. But to really exemplify the problem with this section, if I didn't have bump attack and I got caught in a combat encounter...
Alright, like, because of us going back to get the 1 star piece, I'm not going to count the initial run here, but from the moment where you, like, use Bobbery to talk to someone and you then get the General White hunt, I want you to, like, in, you know, editing, based on the time in the recording, roughly how long this took, even with bump attack and knowing things.
It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, what is your overall opinion on the General White quest? Personally, I do think it is padding, but at the same time, it's not the worst thing ever, but I will acknowledge in a blind run, it can go on super long, and even if you know what you're doing, if you don't have bump attack, getting into battles can waste your time, and that does pad this out. And during a blind run, if you have no idea who to talk to, that adds a bunch of time. While I think this is padding, I will never inherently say it's overblown, but hindsight makes me think it could be worse. But with that said, I will 100% acknowledge General White is a waste of time. You are basically going around to more or less every major area, and all this does is pad out the game. Encounters make it worse, bump attack makes it more bearable, but so does a bunch of hindsight. I understand why a few people think General White is overblown, but with that said, I personally do think this was a padded waste of time. And overall, I thought this topic would be interesting because there is a bit of a split when it comes to whether or not General White is padding or not. the main part of the quest is a lot of pointless back and forth, but I'm starting to ramble. You can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments. Or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord links, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you subscribe to the channel, and if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.